He is on a recently did a YouTube video, a 3D of what's really happening in China and how much the coronavirus has affected us. Nick, how are you?
Hey, thank you so much for taking the call, and I'm doing great. All things considered, it's still in the middle of an epidemic, but my spirits are high. I'm feeling well. So yeah, how are you today?
I'm fine, thank you. So Nick, what do you do in China right now?
Okay, so yeah, I live in Hangzhou, China, and I'm an entrepreneur, and now I'm the founder of a VR company. So we make mainly VR films, so 360 videos to be watched in a VR headset.
Hmm. How long have you been there?
I've been in China for almost 13 years now.
13 years. Wow, that's a long time.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think you have never seen the streets so empty ever.
Pardon, can you repeat that? Sorry.
All this time you have been there, I don't think you have ever witnessed the streets so empty in China.
The speech, sorry.
The street, the
Oh yeah.
city,
Yeah,
right?
well, thankfully, I guess yeah, the past couple months things have been really strict. Uh,
Hmm.
we've we've had to stay inside. Actually, luckily this week, we've just been allowed to return back to work, but it's
Hmm.
still super highly controlled. Every day when I arrive at the whole office area,
Hmm.
I have to get like my temperature checked to make sure I don't have a fever. As in the video, I don't know if you remember the QR code, like that
Yeah,
green safety code. Yeah. So I have to
yeah,
use that anywhere I go. When I arrive at the office, when I arrive like at different checkpoints. So it's difficult, but I'm actually able to leave my house, so I'm feeling great.
yeah. What about food? Is there a scarcity or getting availability of essentials like food, water?
um, I would say it hasn't been that bad, but it's like I haven't gone hungry at all. But the other
Mhm.
day I went to order snacks, and I
Mhm.
love chips, and the only flavor left was cucumber flavored chips.
Oh my,
It's a
what
weird
make it
flavor.
so?
I don't know who likes it, and I guess I saw
Yeah,
from this outbreak that that's the
yeah,
least favorite one. So like
yeah,
it was a shop, and every brand there was the Lay's cucumber flavored, like the
yeah,
Pringles cucumber flavored, the Chinese brand cucumber flavored, but only that. And
yeah.
vegetables also, it's been a bit scarce, like the things that you want to get.
Mhm.
I've always been able to get stuff, and now it's a lot better. But maybe 2 or 3 weeks ago,
Mhm.
when I couldn't leave my community, I would have to get my food through like delivery,
Mhm.
and I would put in the delivery,
Mhm.
and within like maybe 10 minutes of them opening for the day, they would be completely sold out.
Oh my.
Yeah, so I'd
So,
have to wake up at 6 every day, like right on my phone, and I'd have to rush my delivery, like my order. I can't take time to consider it, make sure I get something in, and I'll get food.
that's really tough. So, where you originally from?
I was born in Kenya, in Africa. I grew up in Canada, and I came to China when I was 18.
Uh, 18. Okay. You married?
Pardon?
Are you married?
Married? No, not yet.
Not yet. Okay.
Maybe
So,
this year.
fingers crossed. So, like, how are your people at home? Are they worried about you? They must be worried sick.
Yeah. Originally, when everything was happening, I guess the American embassy was flying people out, and similar things were happening with Canadians. And
Hmm.
family and friends were like, "What are you doing? Are you going to escape? Like, are you ready to run?" So I think they were more worried at the beginning, but now it seems like it's switched around. Now I'm actually starting to be more worried about them because China seems to have gotten everything under control, whereas it seems like the rest of the world the epidemic's really just beginning.
Yeah, we hear a lot of stories outside China, like that the real number of deaths are way more alarming than we get to hear. Is that the
Mhm.
truth? Like, is the number like 10 times more than actually what they're saying?
I think maybe in the very beginning, um, potentially local areas tried to hide it, but what I've been seeing as it's gone on and as kind of the the national government gets more involved,
Mm-hmm.
I haven't seen them trying to hide it. Like they've been really trying to just deal with the problem head on. And I think any of the lower levels who kind of did try to hide things in the beginning, I think that they're going to be like persecuted internally. And yeah, now there's everything's straightforward. Like I can read news updates. Like this was actually scary. I even was able to know where all the cases were in my city.
Mm-hmm.
So I wasn't worried. I wasn't worried until somebody sent me a map, and it was a map of my own city. And in the apartment complex across from my complex, there were two cases.
Oh, scary.
Yeah, and then I was like, because you always feel like this thing is far away from you. Like it's like, yeah, it's scary, but it's not going to touch me. And then you hear news like that, and you're like, whoa, this is in my backyard. And so yeah,
Mhm.
that scared me. That got me to be serious about it.
Yeah, well, and the thing is that a lot of countries depend on China for trade and business. Has this virus affected a long term or a short term? What do you feel?
Oh, I think like economic impacts, I think we've only just begun to feel it.
Yeah.
Locally in China, it's been really hard. Like, there's one company that they owe me $50,000,
Mm-hmm.
and nobody in that company's gone back to their offices yet. They're
Mm-hmm.
still all on like some kind of quarantine at home. And so we have like outstanding debts that aren't being paid, which is which is really unfortunate, and that's hurting our bottom line. And then with nobody wanting to meet, nobody wanting to travel, so many offices closed, my sales staff, they're basically handicapped by this. So our income from is maybe 10% now what it was before the epidemic. So personally, we're being hit hard, and the entire industry, like every industry almost, with the exception, I guess, of mask makers. I'm sure they're doing well, but every industry that's not directly providing services for the outbreak, I think they're having going to be hit. And I guess depending on the government reactions, we'll see how long it goes. I know now in China, the government is working to set up like I guess relief funds. So for one example, all my taxes, the government has given me an extension on any company taxes. So far it's they gave a 3 month extension to start, where they just don't require anybody to pay for things now. And as that goes on, I know one local bank, they set up I think it was a 8 billion RMB fund specifically for companies that have been affected by the coronavirus. And I
Mm-hmm.
know that the government in other cities has rebates and funds too that they're offering to companies, and my city's also preparing things like that. So hopefully with these kinds of government initiatives, the harm will be repaired because everybody will kind of get back into work, and with the government injection of capital, then the economy will kind of, it's going down, but hopefully that'll bump it back up and things will be better soon.
Hope so. How long would you think this would take? This quarantine, and when will normality return?
um that's really hard to say of how long things will take. From what I've seen in China, I guess it's been like this big conscious effort of kind of controlling everything and setting up the system took about a month. And with that in place now, like the amount of new cases in China has pretty much stopped. So I think the outbreaks in China are pretty controlled. And now, which is kind of interesting, the thing that is to be worried about is new cases.
Mm,
So no, new cases, I should say, from outside of China, because
mm,
China's kind of controlled everything inside the borders here. And now what's scary is people coming into China from Italy, from Iran, from these countries that are really hard hit, and they're maybe more at risk than people who are actually in China, even though this was where it started. But again, China's really working hard to control that. So people come back from other countries, they're placed on quarantine and everything. So I think in China, it's nearing the end of kind of the outbreak and things are relatively controlled. But the rest of the world is dealing with coronavirus with varied degrees of success. Some countries will follow China's kind of example and are going to act fast and act hard, and other countries either they're ignorant to the truth and they won't do anything, or some places just don't have the infrastructure or the government systems in place and they won't be able to do it, and those countries could have months and months of, I guess, outbreak and negative effects from the epidemic.
yeah, what do you think caused all this? Like the Chinese medical department would have an idea what how it all began. So how do you? So have you been told what caused all these?
No, I've heard a lot of different things. I'm always on the internet, and there are so many different rumors and kind of explanations. But I guess the final word I've heard is that it's that I guess I've heard a lot of rumors prove to be wrong, and I haven't yet heard exactly how it happened.
Mm. If I may, if I'm not, I don't mean to pry, but you had the option to fly away from out of the
Yeah.
country, but you just stay. Why would you do that?
So why didn't I fly away? Yeah.
Yeah, you always. I mean, the situation is so scary. Obviously, you made a personal choice to stay.
I guess for me, because I have a business here and a company here, I kind of feel, I guess, a responsibility to them. And I
Mm,
know that my employees and my partners and my friends, that they're all going to be in it. And for me to just kind of fly away is like, I guess I would feel maybe guilty if I did that. Like I just abandoned them at their time of need, and staying here and being here, I just think there's a lot more that I can do. Like with helping the company to set up our own like internal safety kind of procedures. Like our government area, we have kind of a safety check and health check, but then we also set up one at the entrance to our offices. So one of our HRs, she does the same temperature checks and records everybody, and just I guess it's important for me to be here to one to set those things up, but I think for more than anything, moral support. Like if you're on a ship and the storm comes and the captain like takes a lifeboat right away, I think everybody's gonna get pretty distressed. But yeah, I want them to know that I'm here and I support them, and we're all gonna get out of it together.
talking about the stress, this could be shattering for a person like, I mean, for anybody. Nevertheless, you, how do you cope with this? How do you keep being on your toes and be happy and moving on? How do you
Yeah,
do?
that's a really great question. There've been a couple things. When I was on like a complete quarantine where I couldn't leave my apartment complex for almost a month,
Mm-hmm.
um, a big thing for me actually was virtual reality. So at my house, I got really nice virtual reality headset, and I would use it to like to see videos of other countries, to go to virtual concerts, like in online social VR apps where there's other people and I can kind of dance with my motion controllers. I went to VR talk shows. I went to a VR conference. Like I visited a lot of my friends in abroad and all sorts of places. but I did it through VR. So through having that technology, I guess that was able to give me a chance to socialize, to leave my house, even though physically I didn't leave my house.
That's fantastic. So can you speak more about your company?
Yeah. And yeah, I guess that's also one other thing of how have I stayed positive on probably the biggest thing is just to be scared of my company's health. Like
Mm,
for an entrepreneur, especially having put like all my life and everything into this, um, and how do I know when the epidemic's going to be over? How do I know when I'm going to start getting income again? How do I know that the company won't go bankrupt? And I guess that would come down to a faith thing. Like I believe that I have a calling, if that makes sense, and that running this company, being here, taking care of this team, creating this project, um, I feel that that's like a higher calling from from like a omnipotent being, and I feel that because what I'm doing is that calling, because it's somehow doing like my destiny, that I'm not worried about the details because I'm doing the right thing and I'm doing the thing that I should be doing, and I think that God or that power is going to take care of me and take care of the company.
yeah,
So everything can be terrifying and I can still sleep soundly.
yeah. My last question to you is still there's a large number of people who think that this virus is not deadly. How deadly is this virus actually?
Yeah, okay, so that actually I got in a fight with my uncle over it
Mm,
when I shared the video because he was like, "Oh, come on, take off your mask, enjoy the fresh air." And what I would say to that and to people who are not worried is it's you're not really at risk right now. So the chance of one of us dying of it in the next week, we're way more likely to get hit by a car, to die by the regular flu. Where there's at the moment the risk to your health is very low. But what scares me about it is the potential. So it's not serious now, and I don't think we're in danger, and I don't think it's that deadly. It's mainly just taking old people or people with previous health concerns, but it's growing and it's changing. Like if you look at the numbers, like it's okay, maybe only a few thousand people have died, but if you look at how many people have died in the last week versus 3 months ago, you see that it's 10 times as much. And so if you look at these numbers, 10 times is just an estimate, but if you see that growing, and if it keeps growing and growing and growing, it's the kind of thing like if you times 2 by 2 by 2 by 2 by 2 by 2 by 2, you're going to get thousands. Like it's multiplying. And so I just see that if we don't focus on safety, if we don't focus on hygiene, if people aren't washing their hands, if people who are infected go out with other people, then it would go down to something that you have 1 in a billion chance of getting to maybe 1 in a million or 1 in 1,000. And also, what scares me is if that happens and it transfers through a lot more people, the virus can change. Like it always has chances of mutating. And right now, the mortality rate for young, healthy people is really, really low. But
mm,
that doesn't say that the virus doesn't mutate as it spreads wider, and then it can mutate into something really scary that maybe could take out healthy people. And then if it's already spread all over the world and it mutates to become more serious, it can be deadly. So I guess I would say to people, don't worry, don't stress out, don't panic. You don't need to build a bunker right now, but
mm,
wash your hands. If you're sick, don't go to work, don't go anywhere. If your government is putting any kind of actions in place, some kind of quarantine on it, accept it, work with it, and then it'll be like China, where there was nothing to worry about. It blew up really fast, and then everybody followed through. Everybody's wearing masks. People follow their quarantines, and it's pretty much stopped. There's no more growth. And so I feel there's nothing more to worry about. But like in Iran, as one example, the government had tried to downplay it by saying it's not as serious as it is, and there isn't adequate healthcare infrastructure around, and so people aren't worried about it. So they're still going out to big events with lots of people, and then it could be really deadly. So just be safe and wash your hands. Anybody who's listening to this or reading this, you can do so much to protect yourself. Don't touch anything. Don't shake anybody's hand. Now we do the elbow bump. So instead of a pound or a high five, you bump elbows. So keep safe and just wash them. Wash them for 20 seconds and do it often. Don't touch your face, and you have nothing to worry about.